So very good. Again, my name is Charles Owen with Paladin. I welcome everybody to the Paladin Biz Coach webinar series. I've been with Paladin for, it's been 9 years now, almost 10. And I manage business alliances here for the company and occasionally do these webinars and really enjoy it. The topic today is remember to upsell your clientele. I think it's important to know, that a lot of the stuff, this hopefully isn't really new to you, but it's going to be information that's just a reminder. Customers always need something more than what they came in for, and we want to make sure that we remind them that, either by using the cashiers or the salespeople, to recommend essential add-on items, upsell or cross-sell items, and that's what this webinar is about today. It also talks about how Paladin has added a few features that can help you and help the cashiers with this goal. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. I'll start with slide 1 here. Refresh my screen. There we go. So the agenda is we're going to talk about what it takes to compete in retail today. I think this is very important to look at what we're bombarded with on a daily basis, what our clients and our customers are bombarded with. They've got things like internet, big box stores they can choose to shop at. We're going to talk about that, how to compete with that today. Changes in our consumers' expectations. Our customers' expectations have changed immensely with technology. And then we'll look at some of the cross-selling and upselling tactics and strategies, and from there we'll look at how Paladin can help you sell more. And that is the goal for today's presentation. First slide, what it takes to compete in retail today. Well, we have a number of things that need to take place in order to do business today in today's market. One is you got to upsell and cross-sell customers. You have to increase that customer spend. That's really important, and we'll talk about that in detail, how advantageous that is and what some of those strategies are in the upcoming slides. But that's number one. Number two is you have to keep existing customers, right? Not only do you have to keep existing customers, but you want to attract new customers. So the only way to grow your store and to expand and to grow is to attract new customers, keep existing customers, increase the customer spend. That's the only thing. It's all about turns, right? So what are some of the other distractions that our customers have when they come in the store? Well, one is they have the big box stores that are promising that they have everything they need. Yeah, you might make a few compromises on support and service and knowledge, but they're there. Also, web stores. It's very important that you know that that is a competitor. Today, Amazon has several of the big hardware store brands are mentioning, and retail brands in general. Talk about Amazon's taking a big chunk of that business away from us. So we need to do things in our store that are going to attract more customers, keep your existing customers, and hopefully persuade them to buy more. And it's really about offering a better service as well. So offering a wide range of products is also important. To expand that customer reach, you need to expand the breadth of your products to maybe add more lines that will attract more customers and attract new customers into your store. Maintaining adequate inventory is really important, because if you don't have adequate inventory, you're going to run out. If you run out, no longer are you the number one spot, to shop at when that do-it-yourself project comes around. It's very important to maintain adequate inventory, to have enough inventory to accommodate your customers. And as you know, Paladin provides optimal stocking levels using suggested ordering, and it does an incredible job at that. And then lastly, you got to keep customers engaged. So how do you keep customers engaged? Well, you have sales, you have loyalty rewards programs, you have multimedia and live presentations, type of thing where you can have an end cap with a DVD, for example, or you can do a live presentation. I see that oftentimes at the big box stores where they have different training sessions where they'll show you how to lay tile or how to lay wood floors and those types of things. Very important to look at. So again, just to recap on some of the things that it takes to compete in retail today, increase the customers and their spend. That's number one. Number two is do things to compete with big box and web stores, and you know that they are there trying to steal your customers. Put efforts in place to thwart that. Like I mentioned, a loyalty rewards program is a very good one. Also put your heavy hitters on the front lines. When I say heavy hitters, I'm talking about your employees that do a really good job of helping customers and getting customers to having them accomplish their goals, which is, meeting their needs by providing the products that they need, but also maybe cross-selling or upselling things that they don't necessarily know that they need until they leave the store, right? So those are the types of things you need to do to compete with retail today. Let's move to the next slide here, which is changes in consumer expectations. All right, so we all know that everybody has information at their fingertips now with the smartphone. It's increasingly taking over, where customers no longer want help from a cashier or from a attendant at the store because they already have the information. It's that they just Googled it. They just scream into their phone, tell me about this product. What are some of the ratings on these products? And they pretty much know what they want when they come in your store. They also know what prices they can get for those items, and you need to compete with that. Also, their expectation is their loyalty is harder to achieve. It's harder to achieve because they have more knowledge. They're equipped with more information now. They know that you don't necessarily or do or don't have the best price in town. And these are types of things that our salespeople kind of lose control of that oftentimes, because the consumer is armed with more information, and they are the ones that are in power because they seem to know what they want and how much they can get it for. So it's important to do things to accommodate and acquire their loyalty, and you can do that with a rewards program. It's an extremely good way to do it. You can also do it by providing extremely good service, knowledgeable service and staff, and providing them with product when they leave your store that they didn't know they necessarily needed. Also, other expectations are that clothing is optional. Your customers don't have to leave their home to shop, right? Everybody knows they can just walk into their office in their skivvies or sit down at their kitchen computer at breakfast and buy whatever they want online, and it will be there the next day, and usually with free shipping. So again, these are expectations that customers have. So you have to do things above and beyond in order to keep your customers shopping at your store. Also, consumers expect good service and fair prices, right? That's just, you don't have to be the cheapest price in town, but you got to be a fair price. And I think the good service is what differentiates all of us and all of our stores. The service, the helpfulness, the knowledge are things that they can't get necessarily on a website. So, and they also know that they aren't always going to get that service at the big box store either. So having an independent hardware store or a retail store or a pharmacy, and if you are there and you're providing good service, you're helpful, and you make it a pleasant experience for that consumer, they're going to come back. All right, so having said all that just kind of sets the stage. Because what we're talking about in this webinar is about cross-selling and upselling tactics and strategies. That's what it's all about. How can we accomplish some of our goals, meet some of those needs and demands and expectations that our consumers have in today's marketplace? Well, number one rule you have to know about upselling is it's not a negative thing, okay? When upselling is done well, your customers are happier and more loyal. And why is that? And hey, if I go into a store and I spend more money, am I going to like that store better? Actually, yeah. As a matter of fact, there's a number of occasions where I've gone into stores and I've planned on buying certain things, and I'll walk out with, case in hand. I went into a store in Titusville, Florida, and immediately greeting me up at the front counter was somebody with with a headset, and they said, "What can I do for you, sir?" And I told them, I said, "I need a cover plate for a light switch." They said, "Great," and they radioed the guy in the electrical department. He came and met us both. He walked me and escorted me down the aisle. He showed me my choices for the switch covers, and I said, "Great." And he asked me some more questions and discovered that I actually needed a new switch too. So we went and looked at switches and got the switch, and then he said, "Is there anything else we can do for you?" Long story short, this guy took me around. He then passed me off to somebody in a different department, which eventually I got to the cashier, and I went in to spend $1, and I walked out with a bag and $50 worth of product. That is a good store. That's good selling right there. So it's extremely important to provide that sort of type of service, because if you can just sell, you can get your customers to spend $1 more in your store. Let's say you have 300 customers a day that come into your store and shop. And each one of those, you're going to spend one silly little $1. In this case, the guy upsold me $49, right? Huge. But if you could just squeeze $1 out of your customers, and you have 300 customers walking your store a day, that's $100 grand a year. That's the difference between, you know, profitability and not being profitable. So extremely important stuff. And again, this isn't new to you. This is what you do. If you're with a brand, a marketing brand, or a co-op, they're pushing this stuff all the time on you. But it's easy to forget, and it's easy to get distracted. And we oftentimes get distracted with some of the things that don't make us money, like ordering and stocking and you know, some of the things that have to be done. But when we use Paladin, it helps with that process to get you, you know, our philosophy is we need to remove you out of the back office functions and get you in front of your customer selling, because that's where the money's made. So the probability, notice this little quote off to the left I have here on the screen. Probability of selling a new prospect is 5 to 20%, where the probability of selling an existing customer is 60 to 70%. So, okay, yes, it's important to get new customers, to win new customers, bring them into your store, show them your experience, and give them that pleasurable experience and all the good knowledge that you can provide them with, to arm them with what they need to do to be able to accomplish their goals. But selling to your existing customer base is extremely profitable and a whole lot easier too. So take advantage of that. So do things like meet the customer's needs while walking the aisles. So I know you all probably have people in your store that walk around and ask people if they need help or if they can assist them in any way. Extremely important, because that's the difference between not selling product and selling product. It can be the difference. And I've walked into a store oftentimes and walked out with nothing because there was nobody there to help me. You know, they had maybe had not enough staff for the demand, or they were busy putting stuff away and didn't want to be bothered with asking people to help. That actually happened to me one time in a store where I walked in and I asked the person putting stock away, I said, "Can you help me?" She said, "Oh, I'm busy, sir. I'm busy right now. You know, if you can ask somebody else, that'd be great." Silly, crazy, unbelievable. I was dumbfounded. Also, recommend required add-on products at checkout. So these are things that every one of us can do, because we know when we buy certain things, you're going to need other certain things. And last thing you want to do is send somebody home and then they discovered they needed that PVC glue and primer when they bought those fittings, plumbing fittings. Extremely important to know. Also, you know, in retail and in pharmacy, for example, if you're selling some kind of liquid and you don't have some sort of a gauge that they can pour out the right amount, you got to upsell them different things. So that's very important. Display impulse items around the counters. You know, there's a few stores that are really good at this. Look at the Targets and the Rosses and the home stores. These guys have literally 3 aisles you have to walk through as you go to the checkout counter. They deliberately put a short staff at the checkout counter so that you have to wait a little bit longer in line, because the more seconds that you're in line, the more odds that you're going to grab those, you know, in my case, the chocolate-covered raisins, which I always grab because I'm hungry, I want a snack. happen to love them, so I always grab those when I'm standing in those stupid lines. But just having product like candy or sodas or even cool little things that fit on your keychain, like little flashlights or items like that, just stupid little upsell items. Again, all it takes is $1 a customer. Just get them to spend another buck and provide them with cool stuff and wrap that around your counters. Offer a special order and deliver non-stocked items. Extremely important. They come in your store, they ask you if you stock a certain product, you say, no, we don't carry that, but I can have that to you by tomorrow or by Thursday or by Friday, or whatever day works. Can I just deliver that to you? And take their money and then deliver it. And then use your point of sale system to help you upsell. How do we do that? Well, let's segue. That's a good segue into the next slide. And this is our final slide. This is how Paladin Point of Sale can help with this process. Extremely beneficial to know that there are certain things that you can set up in Paladin that can help you sell. One is we've added a new feature here, and actually you don't have it on your systems right now unless you're a beta customer with Paladin, but we will roll it out shortly. Description 2 now displays on the invoice on the screen for the cashier. So oftentimes we would recommend you put in an auto text field in the inventory. An auto text field is the third bullet down here. It says an inventory item's auto text content is displayed to the cashier when they add an item to the invoice, and it's printed on the customer's receipt. Well, now description 2 will also be on the display. It's always been on the receipt, but not on the display. We kind of had to tweak the display a little bit to get it on the screen, but now it's there. That is tremendously beneficial because, number one, it doesn't take up a whole line like the note field does with an auto text, right? Number two, you can go in and you can export all of your PVC fittings, for example, and you can put in things like, on the second line, description 2, requires PVC glue and primer. And that kind of will prompt the cashier to ask the question, oh, I noticed you're buying fittings. Says here that you're required to have this PVC glue and primer. Do you have any? And the customer might say, oh, yeah, I bought some last year. That's a perfect setup because, oh, your glue's over a year old? Have you ever opened it and it's really stiff in there and it's dried up? Yeah, have you checked it lately? No, I haven't checked it. Well, just to be on the safe side, it's just a few bucks more. Do you want to buy some so you don't have to run back to the store? Oh, absolutely, I'll get some. I'm probably going to need some more anyway. Just a nice discussion that the cashier can have, and it's prompted by this description number 2 at checkout. Okay, power tools, attachments. Customers are going to need extra Phillips heads and drill bits and things when they buy a power drill. They just are, and if it doesn't come with a power drill, it's really important to put it on there. So you can have the point of sale system, Paladin in this case, where it prompts the cashier and prompts the customer to know to ask about or inquire about, hey, are you going to need this? Are you going to need that? Plants, and now as we come into spring, we got a lot of plant sales and things, so they're going to need soil. They're going to maybe need a new hose, maybe a new nozzle. Maybe you need to recommend some feed or bug repellents of some sort. Important stuff to know. You can also, now I talked about, last presentation I did, I believe was on the receipt and pushing information out on the receipt. There's a number of different headers and footers and different information that you can put on the receipt to help upsell, again, and to help get your customers acquainted with your services and that sort of thing. This is kind of that also, but it takes it and it puts it in front of the cashier now. So cashier is prompted to have that conversation with them. A QR code is another opportunity you can put on the receipt, and that can take them directly to a landing page or to a special secret sale or something that entices the customer to come back to the store and do more shopping. All right, and also, loyalty rewards, extremely important. Paladin has a built-in loyalty rewards program. We also interface with multiple, like Repeat Rewards, Ace Rewards, and others. All right, so the last thing on this list, use POS billboards to get the biggest bang for your buck. What does that mean? Well, coincidentally, we happen to have a webinar I did on POS billboards. There's also information on the Paladin portal, portal.paladinpos.com. And if you search in there for POS billboards, you'll hopefully get a returned result of both a webinar and a knowledge base that talks about how to set this up. So all it is a second monitor with stuff spewing on the screen. That's all it is. Every computer has the capability to split the signal to a monitor so you have a second monitor. And if it doesn't, there's a little pigtail that you can buy that splits it. But it's just another monitor, and that monitor can be as small or as big as you want. In some stores, you might want to put it right front and center when they walk in your store with all your sales. It's just a big 100-inch TV that sits there and displays all the products that are on sale that you have tucked away in the back of the store, so they have to walk through all the aisles to get to. The POS billboards happens to be right at POS, where they're standing in the line and they're watching this. It could either be a PowerPoint that you make. It can be a video of you interviewing some of your good customers, talking about the great service. It can be, you know, you can have multiple windows. You can have news playing on one window and a slideshow of all your sales products in another window right on that screen. Different opportunities, very inexpensive way to get the message out. All right, for more information, you can go to our help portal, which is, if you download this presentation and click on the help portal, it's just portal.paladinpos.com. And you can see more information. Our next webinar is actually on layaways. Now, we've done layaways in the past. We're redoing layaways. We're redoing the process. We've come up with a really good system and added some new features that accommodate this. So you'll want to see this presentation. If not, you can see this and all presentations at a later date just by going to portal.paladinpos.com and doing a quick search. That concludes our presentation for today. I do not see any questions. I appreciate you guys attending. I hope it was valuable for you. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time.